we can start. New Leonardo, you are familiar with this machine. Now we are going to explain the new version. What is to have a Leonardo for the end user, for the customer? Leonardo is fitting small customers, medium customers, big customers. At the end, the only purpose is to boost and to accompany any type of production. It will always keep and follow the level of any factory. At the end, the importance of a plotter is you don't remember is there. Peace of calm, machine will do the work for you. It's more important definitely that your employees and your technical people is focusing in actions that are really adding value into the company. So basically it's boosting production. Do not forget the plotter is the beginning of the cutting room. Plotter, really user-friendly, designed for being used for a technical profile, for users' profiles, really. Customer, very important, not all the customers are the same. So that's why not all the plotters will be the same. Configuration is very important for fitting exactly with the demands and the applications they need at the exact time. That's why modularity is one of the keys of this new plotter, and we are going to enter in more details later. The fourth point, the easy and care. Why, if in your car and if any machine, you can follow the status of the machine. It's interacting with the user by sending signals, when to make the maintenances, what is going on inside the machine, when do you need to replace the spare parts. Why, if with your car is like this, not can be with your plotter. Now we integrated a system that is communicating with the user what the plotter needs in every time, just for having a preventive maintenance in the right moment. Value beyond printing. This is the reasons why the customers have been selecting us, why the customers are buying Morgan. For the paper management, the inks and quality printing, the simplicity of the model and the machine itself, how the machine is flexible enough for adapting any type of productivity, and of course the operational cost, which at the end, after the initial investment, is the charges, the expenses that they will be facing until the machine, the life cycle of the machine, is over. So let me start for the paper management. The plotter, the main consumables is the ink and the paper. So why not to pay a lot of attention on these two aspects? Since the shaping of the paper that you can see here, this may look familiar for the one of you that already have worked with our plotter. Our H shape, the movement that the paper is going since the paper roll until the printing area, it's so simple, and not just like this. Also, this is better for keeping the tension and reaching a maximum adjusting and high precision printing. As well, on the below side, the gravity brake, the hand brake, now it's substituted for the power pads, which are working by gravity brakes. The same weight of the paper, it's making the necessary friction for keeping the tension on the paper, and this way plotter can track faster, so it's translated on printing faster. The origin mark, this is where everything starts, where the markers start being printed. Very important point. If you don't adjust this, the rest of dimensioning, printing inside the limits are really affected. So we have an option just focused on the origin and printing in the limits of the paper. The low cones have some arrows for installing the paper very easily. You don't need many instructions. It's really intuitive. As we said, very user-friendly. On the top bar, for aligning and rolling the paper better once it's been printed, these rolls are controlling the movement, so the paper roll is on the same position. So once it's printed, you can take off and have it very well classified. Let's move for the second reason. Customers like to work with the Leonardo, excellent quality printing. For the garment and fashion industry, for any manufacturing production, the customers normally prefer more fast as possible, with a decent quality and resolution. But it's true that sometimes we found some applications like in the technology, in the architecture, some technical drafts, they require to print in high dimensions. So we have for them the best mode, which is printing until 600 dpi, but of course the velocity is affected. It's just selecting the balance that you prefer between the quality, the resolution, and the speed of the printing. We have 4 printing modes. Keeping it simple, any of you that you have installed one of these plotter, you will see that it's really, really easy, and not just because the instructions and the package is already very, very ready for installation, also because of the low units of parts that you need to assemble for make this plotter work. Only 600 components, while you can find in the market others with 1,500 pieces, 2,000 pieces. At the end, we found that more simple is better. Also, we are producing the 90% of the pieces from the plotter or from local suppliers, so we can assure this way the quality of the machine, the durance, the long time. I want to move into this point because it's really, really important. As you know, the places where these plotters are printing are unexpected places. Sometimes the priority is one in the morning, and after 2 hours, everything changes. Maybe because of the spreading table just changed suddenly the color, it appears any issue into the cutting machine, so you need to move into the next work. Maybe the customer change you the priorities, whatever. The machines that you have in the cutting room should be flexible as well as your production. With this picture, what we want to explain is what we see is the normally conventional way of printing and using the plotter, which is basically printing all the markers that you will cut through the day in the same paper roll. That's good, we say. But what happens if instead of needing the marker 5, which is on the more outside of the paper roll, as you were expecting at the beginning of the morning, now suddenly you need the marker 1 or the marker 2. We cannot forget that this is a 200 meters paper, so you will really need to unroll paper through your factory until arriving the marker number 1 or 2, which are totally in the middle. This is a loss of time. People get nervous. You have your colleagues that are telling you, I need this marker right now. This is pressure, whatever. We think it's not exactly the most efficient way users can print. So we propose the following. You see, this is smaller rolls. You print at the end the same markers, 5 markers, but classified in 3 rolls. Grouping by 1, 2 markers. In any case, in the worst case, the production can change whatever it wants, that you will always have the marker that you need in maximum 1 cut. And you can think, but this is taking more time for me because then I'm printing, cutting, taking off the paper, classifying, putting the paper again, printing again. The truth is that no. And why? Because of the aluminum bar that our plotter is managing for installing, assembling, and disassembling the paper. Also, the fact that it's working with the plastic clips makes the assembly and disassemble of the paper really, really, really fast. Here in the presentation, we have from 70 seconds to 120, but actually with medium, normal technical skills, you can make this within 1 minute. 60 seconds, definitely. And that's why the time that it costs to do this way, it's really worthy at the time you have an unexpected change of the plans. The last point, operational cost. Why working with this plotter is returning the money to the customer. So now you're going to see very clear. Leonardo can print since 80 grams paper, which is actually like nothing. It's like toilet paper. But as you know, the paper business is going by weight. This means lower grammage, you get more meters. This sounds really good, but what happened on the reality when we have been asking, when we have been trying to get the 18 grams paper in any market, in any country? The truth is that it's not that easy. It's not that easy because it's like toilet paper. Not many garment paper and film companies are distributing this paper. So what we found, common grammage in every country is 30 grams. 30 grams is already like the half of the normal grammage we are observing plotters are printing in all the factories. If you don't agree with me in any point, please let me know. We observe that 60 grams is the regular paper grammage that customers are using. What does it mean if the customer that was printing with the 60 grams, now he can print with the 30 grams? This means that if they are using one paper roll per day, now they will be using one paper roll every 2 days because it's the double of meters. So I don't know what is the price of the paper in your country, but if you make the numbers, you will see at the end of the year, it's really a cut on expenses. It's really a save. Reduce space between the markers. Again, here we are saving the paper. Increase printing visibility. Our ultra black ink now with a thinner line, you can see even better than the standard ink from the market with a thicker line. So basically what the translation is, our plotter, let me explain you first that our plotter now has from 1 to 8 thickness level. Even with the thinner one, using our ultra black ink, the inks are perfectly seen. The resolution is nice, even for the manual cutting. So you are saving also ink on this aspect. Below, efficient preventive maintenance. What does it mean? Any planned and scheduled maintenance is translated on machine will not stop, customer will not be stopped, and production will not be stopped. Because we are having a preventive, we are having a planned, routinary, let's say, maintenance for the customer. So they don't wait until the machine has the problem. They don't wait until they cannot produce. We are anticipating to this situation. Here, this symbol of the drop. This is the ink, one of the other consumables of the plotter. Remember, paper and ink. For the ink, what we did in this new Leonardo, you will not throw the cartridge until it's 100% empty. Why we focused a lot of energy on this? The answer is because we saw some customers when the paper was printing with a blank in the middle with a white gap, operator tried to find out which cartridge is actually run out of ink. But the truth is that when we are talking about grammage, it's really difficult to find any difference on weight with the cartridges in your hands. So what they do is to take them, to throw them, and to put the new one. In the Leonardo, you will see with an option which is called Opti-Ink, the level of ink in every time, so you will not throw the cartridge until it's 100% empty. The last of the operational cost reductions is the professional service network, which is basically what we are doing at this moment. between you and us. It's being informed. It's really planify and design how will be our shippings, how will be your stock, how we can cover you for having all the necessary pieces, the urgent pieces in time, so customer at the same moment they need something, they can take from you, because this is a teamwork. And a teamwork will be translated in a fast reaction answer for the customer. Once explained this, we are moving into the new things that are coming with the new Leonardo, okay? Things that were not present in the last version, which is the easy and care, is the options. The options were existing, but now options are more flexible, and you will see now the inks that we are producing and supplying, and the speed pack, which is the upgrade to turn an old Leonardo into a new Leonardo. Let's go for the easy care. Easy care, remember, it's the first thing we spoke on this presentation. If your car can have a planification of when will you need to change the oil, what parts do you need to change, at what time, what is going on in your car. So this is the same for your plotter. The plotter will be telling in the real time to the user what is going on. If the plotter is having a problem in the motor, if any part of the plotter needs to be replaced because it's worn out, this easy care, the preventive maintenance, also is thinking on you. Why? Because we are making you easy. What parts do you need to have in your stock for covering any type of issue for the customer, for keeping this commented preventive maintenance? We have these parts for you. Now I will explain you. And on-time knowledge, which is basically an updated and redesigned documentary for having all the info when you need, how you need, and for any type of profile, technical profile, end user. So even if you are not finding us on the phone or whatever, you will have very good documentation of how to react, how to install anything on the documents. But I want to go more into detail into the easy and care. The easy and care, the user will receive the notifications through the plotter screen and also through the PC screen. So they can see what is going on. Okay, at the moment they know what is going on, how they will be covered, how they will receive the parts that they need, because you will have the parts. How we designed these parts for having very fitting on your stock and just at the right moment. We created these packs which are designed, I think, for the plotter depending on the age. When the plotter is more is from 18 to 24 months, when the plotter is from 36 to 42 months, and when the plotter is from 54 to 16 months. Okay, not always you will need to replace the same parts. At the beginning, it's just a preventive maintenance kit. Later, some cables that are normally the most common replaced from the plotter, some wheels which are plastic. It's regular parts which will have periodical consumption and periodical replacement. But also, very important, the smart parts. The smart parts have a great importance in the Easy and Care program. Why? Because they are through all the plotter. Many sides of the plotter, you can find these parts. And how you will recognize them? Very easy, because they have this Wi-Fi antenna, let's say, symbol, and because they have a built-in RFID chip inside. which is keeping the information of the life cycle and when it's installed, and it's sending information in real time of when to send this part. This is providing peace of mind for you, for the customer, and for everybody, because you don't need to be thinking every day, I don't know when I need to replace this part, I do not remember when I install it, so maybe I should change now again, just for making sure. The plotter will tell you the right moment when do you need to change. And you also should have these pieces on your stock for covering this demand and these alarms, these warnings that the plotter will be making to the user. Not just for technical maintenance, also this is business oriented. If you install very good the plotter and everything is working fine, there is no defect, like it's the normality, you will not touch the plotter until the customer will have an issue. This can mean 1 year, 2 years, 3 years. These parts are very useful for keeping the contact with the customer, for making relation, for producing some incomes. It's not that much, but it's consumables. They will need during all the life cycle of the plotter. And the information when you need and how you need, even for making small adjustments, whatever. We wanted to be everything reflected in nice documentation, clear documentation that you can find on paper, on videos, and here there is a sample. Tech tips, for example, it's not necessary. We need to explain you how to change a motor, how to change a cable, or a very complicated action. Also, the tech tips are giving some instructions, some suggestions for keeping the plotter better, small maintenances that the final user can make just for more durability and for working better. And the documentation, the paper documentation that you will find in the options boxes, you will find in the plotter box when you're receiving on the first installation, everything very, very clear for your user and for the end customer. The options already existing in the previous Leonardo, but now are a bit different. Now are more flexible. There is more variety, and we introduced these options into the modularity business model. The options are this one that you can see on the table. All this comes on these nice boxes. Later, I will approach more into the camera when we spoke detail by detail. Every yes.
Excuse me. As you are, let me see. No. Sorry, we can see you. Sorry, it's just that you have a small image because we are still seeing your presentation.
Yes. No, later when it's finished, I will approach the boxes into the camera so you can look and everything. Okay.
Yes. Good. Thank you.
Okay. So what's different from the options on this plotter? Now the activation is wireless. It's wireless, so all the options can work for any plotter. Until the moment you link the option with the plotter, you can use for any of the plotters that you have in your stock or you have already installed. So you don't need to ask us any codes. You don't need to wait for our answer for installing any option. Just with the card that is going inside every option, your technician will be able to upgrade any plotter at the moment you wish. Okay, they may contain smart parts. Smart parts, remember, that are those parts that keeps memory and they need to be replaced time to time, or you will need to make a maintenance time to time. So also keeping the connection and the contact with the customer. And the options also can work for trial promotions. Trial promotions, we can call trial promotions, or we can call for your commercial activities, your commercial strategy. What does it mean? What does it mean? We can make for you some nice boxes or some nice invitations that we can send you by internet for giving the customer a trial, some limited trials of some options. You will choose 30 days, 60 days. We consider what is better. And this is for helping you into your commercial strategies. Customer who is who maybe you don't talk to them since many time, for encouraging them, for making them confidence to get into the modularity. Just it's up to you. It's up to you. It's for making your salespeople more easy to make interventions and to get more confident with the options. This is your plotter. This is Leonardo plotter. First, if you don't mind, I want to explain the ones already existing in the previous version, so later we can focus option by option, which are totally new ones. The Ethernet. All the plotters need to be connected to a computer. You can connect them through USB. By the way, this plotter can work now with the USB 3.0, or you can connect into the network. This is the Ethernet option. The service zone, just for keeping your cartridges ready in every print, for keeping them protected from the environment, and to restart the printing when you're coming back in Monday, for example, after the weekend without working with the plotter, they are totally ready to print because they are covered, they don't dry, they are in a very, very nice state. For print heads, this is not much to say. For print heads prints faster than 2, and most of the customers, as we commented at the beginning, prefer and are looking for the speed of the machines. Dual role, very interesting, and very requested for the users who are printing in different paper dimensions, maybe 1.5 meters and 1.80 meters, or not just the dimensions. Maybe they are working on a different grammage, or one paper is perforated, the other is not perforated, so they can select without the necessity of changing the paper bar all the time. You just take the paper from the first bar or from the second bar. Really comfortable. And of course, every bar has an independent memory with different parameters. So if this paper is, I don't know, 80 grammage and this is 60 grammage, or 120 grammage and another grammage, or the dimensions are different, the plotter keeps the memory of which paper is in every bar. So you don't need to be changing parameters all the time. Roll to roll is the heavy bar, which is located on the feeding bar, that has very relation with the lean, productivity, efficiency we commented at the beginning. We recommend to group the markers in very small groups, like 1 or 2 markers. Some customers are used and like to work this way, no problem. We have the option for them. It's an additional heavy metal bar together with a motor just for full printing all the paper roll, no problem. Now, we just explained the existing options. Let's take a look now for the new. The Cut and Go, located here on the top cover, which is going the paper through. Instead of cutting with regular scissors or with regular cutter, now you can classify better and more automatically with this cutting device. I want you to take a look here, this symbol, because this is the Wi-Fi symbol, so it means that is a smart part. It's a smart part. Why? Because has a blade. The blade is not forever, has a limited time, like the scissors and like the cutter. And the plotter have the counter of how many times this device is cutting and will inform into the right moment when needs to be replaced, okay? Just for you to get a better idea of what is the smart parts. It's recommended when you have very clear your organization and your queue and your printing queue. So once it's finished, the machine is cutting. No need to have an operator just next to the plotter, awaiting for the scissors and awaiting. Now it's automatical. Of course, the appearance is better in case you need to show to somebody because it's straight, it's a perfect cut, it's made from a motor. Another very nice option, I don't know if in your case it's very common to print in free fall. Free fall means that all the markers are going into the floor, not attached to the bar. So with the cutting device, the machine will print and cut at the same time, non-stop. So you will have all the floor full of finished markers. Of course, you need somebody to be care of them, but it's very fast. Opting, very important. This is part of the cost reduction program. With the opting option, the cartridges have an RFID chip inside, which is sending information in real time of the level of ink. Again, you can see the Wi-Fi antenna. In this case, is because there is the chip inside. You can control the 4 independent or 2 independent cartridges, the level of each of them. Another interesting function of this option. Imagine one of the 4 cartridges just run out of ink. It's empty of ink. In a normal situation, the plotter would keep printing, and when the operator gets again into the plotter, they would find with a lot of meters just printed, but with a lot of white gaps. What happens now with the opting? Plotter detects one of them will be empty and reconfigure the printing of the rest of operating cartridges. So you will print with the rest and never the printings will never be interrupted. You will have a constant printed. For heads, print feed, this is also new. This is new. Machine, very common. You're changing the paper every time you install, you attach, let's say, the paper into the bar. You need to configure the parameters of the origin and the end of the paper. In the production, sometimes people is going fast and they don't duly take the proper care into this step. So just the dimensions of the marker become wrong. The cartridges may print out of the papers, and at the end you have a mess into the bench because it's full of ink. You have a loss of ink, and you will need to reprint all the markers because it's just not fitting the paper dimensions. With the print feed, the machine have a sensor that is detecting the origin and the end of the paper, not just for printing always inside of the limits, also for warning you in case the marker that you intend to print is bigger than the paper dimensions. In this case, the plotter will send you an alarm, will warn you, and you will need to decide if you want to print anyway, but later with the rest of the printing, with the printer in another paper. So later you will attach. You have the power of decisions, but the plotter will inform you. In the lower bar, here in the lower bar, where the new paper is awaiting to be printed, we have a sensor which is called the paper end. Sorry. Which is called the paper end. The machine, basically the machine knows when it's out of paper, and then the printing is automatically stopped. What would happen if the machine keeps printing even with the empty roll? The motor keeps tracking, everything keeps pulling over, and at the end you find with the bar in the middle of the printing area, you can really make a mess. You can break the electronics, you can, the typical paper jump. So with this system, it's totally impossible to happen because the machine will stop before this happens. Okay, so we explained all the options, the existing ones and the new ones. We are moving into the inks. Not much to say here. We signed an agreement with HP. So we are distributing now the genuine and original cartridges made of Ireland, and we are filling here with our ink. At this moment, we are producing the standard and the ultra black. The standard ink, this of course is the HP 45, in case I didn't mention. We are making the standard, which is really similar to the original HP, and the ultra black for garment purpose, a lot of visibility. This also has many relation with the operational cost reduction because with thinner lines, the cutting operator can see better. Also, in an industrial environment, you know, the lights and the dust and the conditions are not the best. So always appreciated to see the marker in proper conditions. All the cartridges can be optic enabled. That, remember, is that option just for keeping the control, the level control in real time. With this new Leonardo generation is coming also the possibility of upgrading existing Leonardo plotters since the 2011 to the 2019, which I think we stopped making the previous version, with some hardware, the specific spare parts, and installing the new software and firmware, you can put an old plotter into the new performance of the Leonardo. This means your customer will have access to the same options, to the same EasyCare program. At the same time, they will have the same improvements, which is the speed, the user-friendly, the improvements on the software. It's like giving the plotter a second life. Let me explain you a little better how it works. This is only the necessary parts for changing. This is the lower bar, the brakes that we explained now are new. Before they were manual, now they are plastic pieces which are keeping the friction. They're keeping the friction so the plotter can print faster. The rolls, the display also is new, some cables, and you will have the machine ready for being upgraded. Okay, in any case, always that you want to turn an old Leonardo into a new Leonardo, you will need to install the IC programmer. Okay, this is for changing software and firmware. In terms of hardware, depends on the age of the master, you will need to replace it as well. And also if the machine is older than 2014, you need to make some holes into the bench for assembling the new bars. But we have this very nice rework kit. You only need to put these plates into the bench. ready for drilling and no more problems. Not it's all the guide here. Let's continue. I was showing you the video, which in a very few seconds you can see summarized what are the bunch of actions you need to make for turning the old Leonardo into the new Leonardo with the upgrade kit. The bar support is different, of course, because now it's working with the gravity brakes. This is the piece that contains the sensor for the paper end. The display is new. Also, some plastics you can change them for more aesthetics. Connecting into the computer, you are upgrading the new firmware and software, and it's done. Of course, here it looks very fast, but it takes just 30 minutes to 1 hour to upgrade all the hardware and firmware parts. Okay, Michael, I'm addressing to you because it's the only one from the room that I didn't spoke this.
Private, I love it.
All the training is for you. I want really you to pay a lot of attention now, because if you like it, the new things that are coming with this new plotter, which is the agent care, the options, everything we have been talking until now. This is the application on the real business. This is how we consider will be the relation with the customer from now on. Okay, let's start. These are the graphics. The graphics here, we wanted to compare the conventional way of selling with an old Leonardo and the way that we are currently doing with the new Leonardo, with the new options, with the new pieces, with the new paradigm, we could say. In color, this is the satisfaction of the customer. We wanted to show in this way, you know, satisfaction is something more related with the feeling, but in a way we wanted to show here in a graphical, and we really think this is very applicable to the reality and to the general relations with the customers. So starting for the initial sale of the plotter. In the conventional way, on the gray side here in the app, you could get, it's possible that the first shot deal, you were receiving more income. By the way, Michael, these numbers here into the right represents the income that you will make time to time from this plotter, since the initial sale to the rest of sales that you will make through the operational, the lifetime of the plotter. Okay, in the conventional way, the options were not so modular, so the commercial guy needed to put all at once. This is like a one-shot deal. You were making more incomes. Now in this version, you don't need to put all the options from the beginning. You don't need to push the customers. Let them decide. Just the plotter is the entrance. The options business can come later, because with the modularity, you will see it's so easy. During the first year, there is the warranty period. It's possible that you will lose some income units. It's possible because you need to travel. The parts are not are covered, I mean, in the warranty. So it's possible that some units will be lost. This is normal in any machinery that you sell. But what happens here? You have been selling to the customer the recurrent consumable, which is the cartridges. So you already been in touch with the customer and make some incomes. What happens the second year? Since the customer has an issue, you don't make the next income. This is a reparation, for example. Until they don't have a problem, you are not making the next income. This is so let's say, when the customer is unhappy, let's say you are happy. In Leonardo, what has happened during the second year? Apart that you have been in touch with them for the recurrent consumables, which is the cartridge, you had the chance for selling new options because you didn't solve at the beginning, or maybe you gave as a trial and later they like it and they accept it. But why you didn't have here a fail? Why you didn't have a problem on the plotter? Because of this symbol, which is the easy and care. Remember, the plotter keeps the user informed of the periodical maintenances that you should make, so you can prevent from problems into the plotter. Customer satisfaction is stable, even increasing, because they see you are having a proactive attitude with them. What happens in the next year? So a little bit of the same. When the plotter, you fix the plotter here in the last year, everything is working fine. They become a little bit happier, but again, until they have an issue, you didn't make the next income. On the other side, with the Leonardo, with the new Leonardo business model, you've been in touch with him for the cartridges, also for the smart parts, like this one you see here, which is a consumable. And also you have a proactive and anticipating attitude on the maintenance terms. So you prevent them for having an unexpected stop on their production and on all their plotter. So their satisfaction keep increasing until the end of the life cycle of the plotter will be something like this. Leonardo, new Leonardo, you are attentive with them, you have the signals, customer is calling you every year for cartridges, for smart parts, for consumables. At the same visits, you are taking the chance of taking with you some options for showing them. And you know, this is, the commercial business should be very symmetrical. This is not really the way. When the customer is unhappy, you make more money. So it's not as we understand the business. We understand the business like this. When the customer satisfaction is growing, you can make business with them. You can act as a partner. So this is what we are promoting. In the beginning of the sale, here we had less income. Here we have more income, sorry, because we include all the options. And here we had less because we knew during the time we would have more chances to sell more. What happens into the end? Here we have 31 unit profits. Here 17, which is basically the first sale and the couple of maintenances we need to do. I hope you like this business model, because now it comes the possibility of applying the same philosophy, the same way of selling for the old Leonardos. You see this symbol just appeared here, which is the upgrade symbol. What we explained in the last picture, how to turn an old plotter into the new plotter. Once you have the old Leonardo converted into a new Leonardo, all this model is valid for them. You have a second chance for giving another business. Who would thought, Michael, that a plotter from 2014 could be again taken as a chance for making more business, for making more relation, for giving value to the customer investment? Because we are talking that the plotter can be from 2011, but what if the plotter is from 2070, for example? That we could say it's young. Customer may think, okay, it's a pity because I just buy the plotter just the previous year that the new Leonardo was on the market. No problem. We keep the importance of the investment. You can offer the upgrade kit for a fraction of the price of a new plotter. For keeping the business model, what do you need in your stock? You need something like this. We recommend the options, the spare parts, and the inks in one side. At the same time, you need to have the standard plotter stock that you have been studying with your commercial guy, for example, Laura or Tony. You make a prospection of the year and you kind of place a target for a year or for half year, depending. I don't know how often you make the shippings. So you have the standard plotters on stock. Standard means with 2 printing heads and with the easy quick bar, which is the aluminum bar. On the same measure, on the same amount, you can have the speed pack stock. Also for those plotters who you want to convert into the new Leonardo. What represents at the end, at the moment you are making the sale and you go to the customer house, you take the plotter, the basic plotter, and with only with the necessary and agreed options that your customer demand. Just like this, you make the customization into the selling moment. You don't need to make orders or orders to us just on time for a very special requirements. You have in your stock the power of configuring and making the unique plotter that your customer needs.